Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Welcome. This is the Sports Trap Podcast, and my name is John Trapp. As always, my man, Christopher C-Rod Rodriguez. What's up, man?
What it do?
And on the ones and twos, Mr. Qual.
What up?
Finally, we're getting to this point where the Houston Astros have clinched the division, looking forward to this playoff. And Chris, you mentioned something at the beginning of the show or before the show. The Astros might be the first team to what?
Be the first time in history to actually have a Cy Young Award winner and Rookie of the Year on the same team.
And
possibly MVP.
Knock on wood.
MVP for Bregman.
Man, well, we got something to look forward to for the Astros postseason. Also, did you see the Houston Texans finally won a big-time road game that's going to be huge for us going into the playoffs if we were to make it and be fortunate to be in that position later on. But that gives a lot of confidence to the Houston public and the NFL at large.
Deshaun Watson, we trust.
Hey, man, if we're talking about quarterbacks, we got to mention Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs and the Ravens,
Womp womp.
and how that went down. So the Chiefs, are they looking like the best team? You got undefeated Bills, surprise. The Patriots, always. And Chiefs, and man, I really want to know who the real teams are after 3 games.
I mean, the 49ers are undefeated as well, aren't they?
Oh, man, whew. We'll see.
So is the Cowboys. So are
the Cowboys. And Green Bay, not to mention.
Not to mention.
Will the real NFL teams please stand up? And I can't go this week without mentioning AB17, Antonio Brown, number 17 off the... No, he doesn't play for the Patriots no more, does he?
No, he got cut.
Oh, man, not to make light of a bad situation. Well, I don't care, but he can't. So
Looks like the Patriots came on his back.
oh,
Damn.
oh, man.
What's up, AB?
Anyway, so yeah, let's just get into it, man. Top five NFL teams, man.
Wait. I mean, I appreciate you want to go into it deep, and we got a great show and all. But before we get into the top 5, I mean, let's talk about. Don't you got to speak your truth with Qual? You got some stuff to get off your chest with Qual?
I don't know.
Like fantasy football? What?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Did somebody get free dinner tonight?
Oh man, Qual, man, you gotta. I can't say it, man. I can't say it.
I can. I say it right now. John, did you not post a video on Thursday night saying you had already won between your matchup between you and Qual?
After the first player.
For the first player. That's right.
I was a defensive player too. Whoever I picked, I forget.
Golly, and then
he only scored 2.5 points. I was like, damn.
Listen, man. All I gotta say is this: he got lucky.
Oh, lucky.
Hey, we bet dinner.
Lucky.
We bet dinner, and I paid up. And shout out to Rooster's Vietnamese Grill.
Roostar Vietnamese Grill.
Roostar, and off of Chimney Rock in 59. That place was bomb. Chimney Rock and
274.74.
Right here.
That Vietnamese coffee went hard.
Vietnamese coffee.
Oh my God.
Paul, you had 274 points, and John had 231 points.
Yeah.
Those are inflated numbers, but
listen,
man, for sure.
A win is a win. God damn.
John,
You 0-3 now, right?
unfortunately, man. Well, week 5, who do I get to play?
El Chico Malo.
Are we betting dinner?
Hey, man, El Chico Malo doesn't bet food. El
Hey,
Chico
listen.
Malo bets gold, son.
Oh, well, hey, gold is in Vietnamese.
You better have your Cuban links ready. He puts Cuban links versus Cuban links.
Hey, man, Vietnamese bong me. I'll take that another sandwich. Listen, out of all of them, I like the ribeye. That's just me, though. Ribeye bong me.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you're listening now and you haven't had Roostar yet, do yourself a favor. They got 2 locations. There's one at Chimney Rock in Richmond, and there's another one in Gessner. near Long Pointish or so. Shout out to Ronnie and Linda. Great.
Absolutely.
They own the business and they're fantastic. So doing it right.
Absolutely. One of the best places you can possibly eat a good Vietnamese sandwich. Not only that, but the customer service is excellent. The place is just, the location and where it's set up and how it is inside, from the customer service to the food, it's just absolute quality.
Yeah,
so,
y'all gotta try out
mad
that
love, man, for real.
That ribeye bum me, and not only that, man. I've been there before, but the one in Spring Branch, I had never been to the one here that I went to tonight with the one at Chimney Rock in Richmond. But CJ, Chris's friend, and Josh's friend of the podcast, they were mentioning that all the way from LA, so that gave me the idea. And it sparked my hunger, so I had to pay up. Qual, good game.
Good game.
You got lucky. Actually, okay.
bags,
Let me explain myself. After he gets a bag, after I almost put it over my head. Anyways, so yeah, let me explain myself. First of all, I see your moves. I saw your moves. See, what he did was he went to go get defensive players to play against me, and I got that. And his trick didn't necessarily work, but what he did, he back-ended it after Thursday, and he went and got. I picked up Whitley Merciless. Shout out to Houston Texans, because we play IDP, individual defensive players. So that's why our scores are like 200 and whatnot. So, anyways, seeing that I got Whitney Merciless, he didn't want to be left behind, so he went and picked up the Houston Texans defense again.
Did I pick
shout out.
that up after? After you picked up?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Man, I see your moves. I see what you were trying to do, too. So, I can't – listen, he got Keenan Allen. How you going to get picked – this is what bothers me. He picks up the Houston Texans defense, but he has Keenan Allen. That's what lets me know that he just wanted to eat my points. And, hey, that's strategy, and I get that. I get that.
Hey, there's no loyalty in fantasy, unfortunately.
I guess not. But we'll check out what our picks were this week, too. So let's get into some of that.
Before we do that, just real fast, I want to shout out the boys' #1 fan. We said it before. He has a great squad. He's 3-0. He's leading in as far as the standings with 838 points. Broke Homie Quan 3-0 as well with 791 points right behind him. And, of course, Esteban's team is 3-0 with 787 points. And then everybody else.
Hold on. I just want to. This is what thing I do not like about fantasy football, because just because you're 3-0 does not necessarily mean you're the best team. Case in point is right here. Esteban, shout out Alberto Esteban Orozco. Anyways, he is 787. Number 2, Broke Home and Quan, was 791, right? So you got the Regulators with 800 are 4th. The Hector's team was 792 is 5th, and Dirty Birds 842.
Yeah.
842 is actually the highest, and he's 6th with a 1 and 2 score.
That's just matchups.
It's all about matchups. And honestly, John, I will say for you, most of us have lost because there's just other teams that we played against, their projection, they just blew out their projections. But with your team, they just fucking suck. And
that's
they just
not true,
keep
man.
losing.
I've had listen, boo, what was me? Boo fucking who for me, and I get it.
It's still
Listen,
early, man. It's still early.
I know.
Man, you just 0-3.
Yeah.
I mean, you with my cousin Gary and Josh Cruz. I mean,
Man,
you guys can make
again,
it. You guys
all right.
can make a comeback.
Anyway,
6 teams
what
make the
happened,
playoffs.
Josh?
So there's 3 undefeated teams. Speaking of undefeated, actually no. Let's back up, because I really do want to celebrate what the Astros have done. 3 years in a row,
Absolutely.
100 wins.
Did you mention our special guest right in front of you tonight?
Ooh, so Chris actually went to the baseball game. Love the hat, man. He was
Really wanted this hat when it first came out. It sold out. Oh man, I was trying to track it
Ooh,
forever.
show off that shirt too, man.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, man.
jealous. I want
Jordan, Air Jordan, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, possibly, and it may be a long shot, but Alex Bregman, man, maybe we can get an MVP out of this team too, man. That'd be pretty special.
His numbers are extremely close to who we all consider Mike Trout the best player in baseball. He
Right,
really is, hands
right.
down. But Bregman is right there. And one thing that AJ Hinch mentioned after they won and clinched the division is how special Bregman is, because during all the injuries, he's played in so many different positions. They moved him throughout the whole batting lineup, and he's been continuously the most consistent Astro throughout the whole season. And that's crazy because when you look at Michael Brantley, when you look at Altuve, when you look at Yordan Alvarez, these guys have been put up ridiculous numbers, and he's right there. Bregman has still been the most consistent. And not only that, but like I said, Bregman is going to be the face of baseball. He wants to be the face of baseball, and what better way to nail it in a coffin than to win the MVP?
And I just want to bring something up, man. It's so frustrating, the arbitrary nature of the media. One year where it's, Giannis, best player on the best team. We got Alex Bregman, best player on the best team. And you have somebody like Harden, who is the best player overall in the NBA, at least according to me, and he can't even get sniffed for an MVP beat out Giannis. So listen, if we're gonna keep that same energy as far as getting Giannis the MVP, we got to give it to Bregman. It's just, to me, the best player on the best team, not including pitching, because Verlander has been amazing. But
they said it today that if Yordan Alvarez, based off of what he's done in half a season, would have played a full season, he would have been MVP.
I keep telling people.
How
People
crazy
do
is
not
that?
believe me when I tell people this. I have yet to see, again, the greatest baseball player in my life. I have yet to see anybody in the MLB play, or bat at least, offensively speaking, play like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds,
Dude.
left-handed hitter, and the
Absolutely.
sound that comes off of Yordan Alvarez's bat when he hits something, oh my God, it sounds like a cannon, a cannonball out of a can, just exploding out of a cannon. It sounds amazing.
I mean, he was 3 for 3. So I went to the Sunday's game. It was a last home game for the season, and it was also, and I was pretty excited because we didn't clinch the following night. We lost, so I was actually pretty excited to actually hopefully watch them clinch. And not only that, but we were actually hoping and fingers crossed that Verlander was actually going to break his record, hit 3,000 strikeouts. That didn't happen, but we did clinch. We did put up 13 points. It was a crazy game because never in my lifetime would I ever think that I would be able to witness a player, George Springer, hit 3 home runs back to back.
Oh yeah, remember that?
It
I was
was
thinking
crazy.
about you whenever.
Not only that, but like my wife is like, I think he's gonna hit 5, and we're like, no, don't say that. But like when he got up for the 4th bat, everybody was standing up, everyone was pumped up, and it was just like, like we just felt that he was gonna do it. But like even with Springer, going yard to yard, hell, Yordan still was 3 for 3. He still hit two line drives that almost were home runs, and he actually got underneath those balls. And I was telling my cousin Paul, shout out to my cousin Paul, that he got underneath and still had enough power to get them where most players would have, gotten out. He was still able to get hits off those plays. So it was just crazy. It was an exciting game.
Man, I'm looking at the stats right now, and it's just like the wins over above replacement. Trout is number 1, Bregman number 2. Batting average, it's like 1 and 2. Trout and Bregman. On base percentage, 1 and 2. Trout and Bregman. It's just ridiculous how close of a race that actually is. You would think that Trout actually was above and beyond better than Bregman. Actually, Bregman is like right there.
He's been right there from day one. And you know what though? I was thinking today that even if for whatever reasons, of course Trout went out. He had ending surgery,
That's crazy.
surgery.
Look,
But
but now I'm sorry to break. Now that I'm looking at it, like, so Trout has 45 home runs, Bregman 39. Bregman has 108 RBIs. Trout has 104. Base on balls, Bregman over Trout. It's 1 and 2.
ridiculous.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. And here's the thing. I don't even want to mention what happened in the NBA because I think the NBA is full of shit and they made a narrative story from the jump who was going to win the MVP. But at least in baseball, that if Bregman doesn't win MVP and Trout gets it, it's not like you're upset about it. It's not that it was that much of a difference
Right.
as far as the play for the whole season. So, I mean, let's keep our fingers crossed. I think Bregman has showcased his talents more than ever this year, that he is definitely a good candidate for MVP. Hopefully he wins it because, like I predicted a couple of shows back, this is the year Houston's taking all the awards. We're taking MVP. We are taking the Cy Young Award. We're taking Rookie of the Year. We're taking the championship. And we're also taking the SP Award for the best team of the year. In your face.
That'd be. I tell you what, though, we're still in the race for the best record overall in all of the MLB. The Yankees actually lost today versus.
That would make us a full
You didn't
game.
even play right. You didn't mention we're playing right now. And speaking of Bregman, he homered today in the 4th inning. We're up right now 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th.
And if that score stands, that means we'll be a full game up on the.
It will be a game and a half. Right
Game
now
and a
we're at
half
full
inning.
game.
Yeah.
Well, actually we played one more game than the Yankees, but they've lost one more. So
game.
we got one win in the bag.
Yeah. After tonight, we have 5 games left. One more with the Mariners and the series with the Angels.
And I think the Dodgers are like maybe 2 or 3 games now
Close it
behind.
See, but the Yankees have to play the Rays, and the Rays are in a wild card hunt. And
They fighting.
the Mariners are out of it, and the Angels are out of it. They don't even have Trout or Otani. I can't say his last name. Otani.
Isn't that his last name? Otani? Yeah, that's right.
There's some. Let's stick with Ichiro. One name basis of Otani.
So, John, you're also saying we're also going to get the best record in baseball, too? Taking all the awards, guys. Taking them all.
Well, here's my thing about that is I want the best record because I don't want to have to travel again like we did in
absolutely.
that year that we won the World Series. We had to travel to Game 7 in Los Angeles, and we had to come back versus the Yankees. Now, let me ask you this. Now that we finally getting kind of seeing what the playoffs, I want to revisit that whole thing. Who do you least want to see in the playoffs as far as a team when it comes to the Astros?
Ooh. That's a good question. I think the team that I personally feel would give the Astros the hardest would probably be the Minnesota Twins.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're still leading as far as most home runs. I might be wrong on that one.
The Yankees are actually leading.
The Yankees are now leading.
But, okay, so Minnesota, Yankees, and Houston have won their division outright. Now, Oakland and Tampa Bay and Cleveland are all in that playoff race. Now, Oakland is, I tell you what, when it comes to dangerous teams, at the beginning of the season, I was saying the Yankees.
They're spicy.
Now Yankees are a great team, good team, especially with all the injuries that they've had. But the Oakland A's have played us really good, and they've played us in our own division. When we spanked them like 21 to, I want to say 1, they came back and spanked us pretty bad too. And that, if we have one hole or scare, like something that's uneasy for me is how Miley has gotten down when it comes down to the end of the season.
I still think, like, even our bullpen, I just think that when it all comes down to, I think everybody's just tired. That's why I like the fact that we're gonna start seeing a lot of players get a lot of rest going into that, and that's much needed for this season. Because think about the Astros are in position where they're at right now because the Astros, with half of the season because of injuries, they were fighting to stay relative. They were fighting to win those games. And a lot of times their bullpen and their pitching is what helped us get through some of those games, especially when we were struggling with our offense. I think the Astros are gonna be safe. And honestly, you're right. Athletic, they definitely have given us a run for our money here and there. But I think when it's all said and done, we're talking about playoff baseball. That's something we're comfortable with. I don't know if that's something that the Oakland Athletics are comfortable with.
Oh, that's a good point. Sometimes you got to know how to win, and you got to win those kind of difficult games and pull them down, out down the stretch. Kind of something towards. I think this is a perfect segue to mention the Houston Texans.
Boom.
And what they did after being down at half and coming back versus the Chargers. I mean, they look like a completely different team in the second half.
What was your take on that game, Qual? Because I as I was watching that game, what stood out the most is that team was a completely different team from the first half to the second half. And like the first half, it just felt like redundant plays, redundant calls. Shout out to the offensive line because they only gave up 2 sacks, right? We moved some players around the offensive line. Hopefully this is where it stands right now as far as the offensive line, pending, injuries and whatnot. But it seemed like in the second half, Deshaun Watson, most of their big plays and the way they got back in the game was Deshaun Watson almost freestyling and just playing off the defenses and making plays. When their plays got broken up, him just doing what he does best, which is just lead the team to victory. But what was your take on that, Qual? Because I'm just curious from your standpoint of watching. I know how you watch, in detail as far as the first half versus the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was mostly on the back of Watson to me. Yeah, I think that's why we ended up pulling it off. Shout out to Chargers defense. They're not slouches, but I think Watson being able to be the game maker that he is, the playmaker that he is. I think he had of course, with our line protecting him better, man. He found his rhythm. He was able to sit in that pocket and really dish it out. So I think that's really what gave us the edge, and that's why I hope that for the rest of the season we're gonna start to see more and more of that, because and I hopefully we'll get the respect that we deserve, because I feel like that's the level that the Texans could be at. A lot of people, counted us out going into enemy territory in LA and not being able to win, but I think this game proves a lot, and hopefully we can ride on that momentum and keep it going. So.
One thing I will say is just the fact that going down so much on the road, it took us a second, but they started out 0-10, 10-0, as far as like the score.
Yeah.
And then at halftime it was 17-7, and for the team that had that resiliency, it shout out to the finally do something with the tight ends. We're drafting tight ends left and
We
right.
got like 20 of them, so.
Yeah.
And
what was that play? 80 yards?
Jordan Atkins, man. Yeah,
Man.
man, twice. I mean, he got 2 touchdowns in a game, right? Yeah.
hey,
Would you pick him up on the waivers?
Nah, man. He's like, one thing you never do is pick Houston Texans tight end on fantasy football. Reasons for it is because next game they won't even throw one ball to him.
I tell you what, the blocking in this game was phenomenal. I'm not saying it was perfect. They were still, but they changed up a couple things. They moved Tunsil around.
Didn't they move him to the right end?
Max.
Didn't they move him to the right side? Which I mean, let's just hope that this is what's going to stay consistent. This offensive line, and they can continue to block Deshaun Watson, because he can't take any more hits.
I don't know how Stills and Tunsil feel being on the Houston Texans, but it's got to be better than ever wanting to play a game for the Miami Dolphins again. I mean, as far as what the Miami Dolphins are, it looks like a barn fire. It's like, nobody wants to play for them anymore, and every opportunity I see somebody have when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, they're selling them left and right. As far as like fantasy, Survivor League, anybody and everybody that's playing in Miami, they're picking up that guy, or they're picking up that quarterback that's playing against them, or they're picking in Survivor, they're picking whatever team plays against them.
What are you doing if you're in that front office? What are you doing if you're the GM of the Dolphins?
Stacking my first round draft picks, because guess what? Next year they have like 3 or 4 first round draft picks. They got a handful of first round draft picks. The year following that, they're going after Tua.
NFL is so, the players don't have that well of a voice, and they can't voice a concern as much, because anybody that plays in the NFL at any period of time knows how fast their career could be over. But man, dude, it's just, if I'm a player I wouldn't play. I don't want to put myself on the line for a team that's already for a front office that's basically giving up on a team.
So can we agree that the last couple of games, based off of what I'm sure those players knew right when they went into training camp, and the tone of the training camp going into the first game, or even the preseason games, to me it looks like a team that's not even giving maximum effort because they understand that this is what's going on. You know what I mean? That's why look at Mika. Mika leaves. He wants to be traded, and to me, Mika is one of the best up and coming safeties are in the game. Look what he did in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal first game over in Pittsburgh. He had a fumble return, an interception, a whole bunch of deflections, a whole bunch of tackles. I think he put up like 25 points just alone in fantasy football. That just goes to show you. Yeah, I mean, look at steals.
He's the best Fitzpatrick in the league.
The what?
He's the best Fitzpatrick in the league.
Yeah, hell yeah, he's the best Fitzpatrick in the league right now.
That's funny. But no, on that big Atkins play, the touchdown from the tight end, the main one that was blocking was Kenny Stills down the right side of the field, and he really, to me, deserved a lot of credit on that touchdown.
Oh, for
run.
sure.
Let me ask you guys a question, because this is something that we're going into week 4. But is anyone surprised that Hopkins has been kind of quiet in all 3 games?
No.
You're not
No,
surprised?
I think honestly, I think this is the best wide receiver core that I pretty much have seen the Houston Texans ever have. You have Kenny Stills, who obviously was an important player down the stretch in the Texans game, had 4 for 89. Then you have Deshaun Hopkins doing Deshaun Hopkins things with 6 and 67. And then, of course, Will Fuller's, from what it looks like, he's 100%. So he's spreading the ball around. Will Fuller had 5 catches for 51. He's spreading the ball around. Not to mention he's giving it to his tight end. So, the fact that we're not focusing on one said player in D-Hop, man, makes me believe that Chris has a point when it comes to how good Deshaun Watson really is. And unfortunately, from what I can tell, they're not talking Deshaun Watson as one of the best in the league, but he's making a case, man. He's making a case because at this point, it seems like he said it himself in that interview that you showed us with Warren Moon by Bezel and the Players Tribune. If you haven't seen it, give yourself a chance. It talks about black quarterbacks in the NFL now, and the dichotomy that they have to go through. But anyways, he's making a strong case of being one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you think about it like from, you can go back to, I know we're going to mention like top 5 and all that stuff, and just team-wise, and I think it's great to have a superstar like Hopkins on. I mean, everyone loves him, but it's even better, I feel like, if you think about the bigger picture, that we don't have to rely on him all the time.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, think about it. He isn't even in his final form, in his like full stride. Imagine how we'd be playing.
This is third year, right? Third year?
Who, Hopkins?
Yeah, no.
Oh, talking about Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just imagine, like, if Hopkins was really beasting like that, and we're still managing to pull off wins and stuff. I think that's a big reason why I respect Tom Brady so much as I don't give a fuck about the Patriots, but I mean, he's found ways to win look at how many different receiving cores he's had in his years, So I think that we have a solid one now, and just wait until the day that Hopkins does go for $150 and 3 touchdowns. I mean,
the reason why I mentioned that about Hopkins is I just feel like Hopkins and the rest of our receiving core could actually have even more numbers, and I think we could be putting up even bigger numbers. But I do see, again, stagnant play calling by Bill O'Brien, and that frustrates me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these big plays that happen alone in this game or just shoddy plays that were called that were just broken up, and Deshaun Watson made something off his God-given talent.
yeah.
What's scary about that is that you can only do that for so long because you're going to start getting into the heavier of the schedule. I mean, at week 5, I think we played the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess at this point, seeing our talent from Hopkins, Fuller, and now Stills, you got a lot of speed on that field. Why aren't we opening up the play calling a lot more? I even honestly feel like that we're better served, the Texans, even when we're hurrying up offense, it just feels like it's just a better flow.
Well, the problem is with and we've mentioned this and harped on it so long throughout the whole season, is yes, we have to battle against weird play calling sometimes with Bill O'Brien, but as good as the offensive line was, it still doesn't give D Watt enough time to Deshaun Watson enough time to allow that play to develop. So even case in point with the Atkins touchdown, it was probably a 15-yard throw, and it was all the yak that he got.
It was actually, by the way, if no one saw it, it actually was a no-look play, and Deshaun Watson actually posted his no-look pass.
That's kind of cool. That's
That
kind
was
of cool.
kinda tight, man.
I had to zoom in. You ever get the like on IG? You ever get the picture and you kind of don't see really what's going on, so you zoom in and you can zoom in on Deshaun Watson's eyes, and he's completely looking the other way as he's throwing the ball across body. No, actually open body like that, but yeah, that was a pretty cool picture that he posted. But again, we don't have the offensive line to give Deshaun Watson the time for a play to develop, to go and air it out. Like, from what I can remember, the big plays that Will Fuller had in years past were because Deshaun Watson played they had a play action, he bootlegged out to the right and just flung it. But at this point, he can't do that every time. And we have the burners. We have the speed. Like I said, I think that this is the best wide receiver core that we've had up until this point. But
you see now you get where I'm going with this when I say that Deshaun Watson is not getting his due diligence as one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, because a lot of people don't even have him in the top 5 as far as national goes because of the offense and the way we run plays in the NFL, which is crazy because as it stands right now, Texans are still 2-1. Right? So there's teams that are 2-1 that just in the ESPN's power rankings, they still have
very well should have been 3-0.
The Texans still, well, we'll bring that up again. That hurts me a lot. But the fact that the Texans are 2-1 and they're still 10th.
Right in the power rankings?
Well, no, but that's just it. If you go look at across the power rankings, everybody has their power rankings. The Texans are still 10 or 11.
Yeah, but we don't have besides the quarterback position and besides the wide receiver position, we don't have any positions that are blowing any other teams out the water. Like if you were to, the Patriots are number 1 defense in the league. Same thing with Green Bay.
Okay, so let's take this away. So we can all agree right now, all 3 of us, that the Texans are probably not beating the Patriots or the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Okay.
Right.
Can we beat the Ravens?
I think we can. It depends on our play calling.
Can we beat the Cowboys?
At this point, I don't see where we can.
So, can we beat the Green Bay Packers?
I think we could.
I think so.
Yeah.
Can we beat the 49ers? Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I get your point, but when you look at the team as a whole, there's a lot of glaring issues. I mean, as good as the offensive line has played for the past week, it's an improvement, but it's not perfect. It's not where we need to be. And second of all, we can't have our quarterback be our best rusher. We just can't.
So, okay. So with that all being said, as a team as is right now, this is what goes back and why it frustrates me. And the only reason why I'm saying these questions, I'm asking you guys these questions, is because I don't want to always come across like I'm just downing the Texans, all right? This goes back to what we said in the beginning of the season when we started talking about our picks. I clearly stated that Deshaun Watson is going to have an MVP year, and he is not going to win it or get the respect that he's due because of the team that was put together by ownership and Bill O'Brien. And here we go. We're 2-1. We just had an amazing win. And me and Qual argued last week because I was upset the way the Jaguars came back. But like he was correct, and I'll give him his dues. A win is a win, right? And he's right. We should have won in New Orleans. Crappy ass play calling. We're probably gonna win against the Carolina, right? But then what happens after that? And as constructed right now, I'm over here trying to do everything I can to say why the Texans should be ranked higher than 10th right now in all the power rankings. And you're telling me...
We're actually 12th.
Right, okay, we're 12th. even worse. And everybody telling me, well, the reasons why we're not any higher is because we still have this issues. We still have those issues. Again, we're wasting our talent, right? We're wasting our talent. And it's what it feels like right now. Every time I watch Deshaun Watson make big plays, I think to myself, man, he's so good, but he's playing for this coach, for this ownership. And that's frustrating.
That's the whole thing of if you're in Miami, are you going to be good, mediocre, or just good enough so where you're not going to ever get out of mediocrity, or you're going to just tank? And at this point, we're not going to get any better. Through the running back pickups that we did, which haven't panned out to be very well, I think.
Carlos Hyde is okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
19
a C+.
yards?
He's a C. You're right. He's a C+
yards.
running back. He's a
Okay.
C+ running back.
And then for us to give up a whole drive in less than 30 seconds to New Orleans for them to kick the field goal to win the game that you said we should have won, and then giving up Nick Foles' Jaguar team a chance at the goal line at the end of the game for us to eventually win it because our defense finally stopped somebody at the 1 yard line where we easily could have lost that game. And then this past Sunday, that wasn't an easy one game.
No, it wasn't.
We finally had we finally had the best ending defensive drive so far this season, but it was still a 1-score game.
And if no one, hey, listen, I was pumped up and excited because I love the game, but let's be real here. Benjamin dropped a pass that was straight in his chest by Old Man Rivers.
Yeah.
If he makes that catch, it's over
touchdown.
with. It's touchdown.
It's touchdown.
So I want everyone to realize that, yes, we got another win. We beat a good team on the road, right? But based off of what we've seen so far, are we going to just go ahead and concede, well, at least we won, even though we're not going to win more than what's expected of us already? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like...
we got week 4, looking next to is the Carolina Panthers, who are without Cam Newton.
But looked a lot better without him. It's the truth.
I think they're 1-2 at this point. The Falcons, again, a 1-2 team. And then the Chiefs, week 6, actually. So Panthers, Falcons, Chiefs, and then the Colts.
And Colts are looking pretty good right now.
I tell
We're
you what,
setting the Colts, and their defense is looking good.
we need to go into that Chiefs game at least being 1, 2, 3, at least 4 and 1. And that'll give us some.
I'm
leeway.
curious. I'm curious to see how the defensive line is going to stop McCaffrey. That's going to be a tell-all, be-all of how good our defense is going to be for the rest. Because if we can't stop McCaffrey, we're going to get blown out by Kansas City Chiefs.
Hold on, but if you look at their defense isn't necessarily the problem when it comes to running backs.
But have they played an elite running back yet? No. They're about to play an elite running back.
Fournette was pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not saying he's elite.
Fournette is an up-and-down type of a running back. You're talking about McCaffrey, who other than Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley is probably one of the most dynamic players across the field. If he goes into a pass position, or they're putting him where he can catch the ball, who's holding him?
Right. Well, okay, so Alvin Kamara's worst game was probably against us. Fournette had a subpar game, even according to his standards, was against us. And then Eckler, who was the number 1 rated running back in fantasy, he really didn't have that great of a game against us. So, I mean, if we can take out McCaffrey, I think we'd be all right.
That's what I'm saying. McCaffrey is not only used in the run game, he's used all over the field. And when Kamara started getting used all over the field in the second half, we were struggling with that.
Right.
I'm just saying, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but come on. You got to give us some credit for at least those 3. Those aren't tough, or those aren't weak.
No, they're not. They're not. But
backs.
I guess, man, McCaffrey's phenomenal, man. I'm just saying.
I mean, I think he's great. Yeah, I think he's the biggest weapon out of those. I mean, Kamara's great
Samuels
too.
and Moore actually got the ball more thrown to them and became weapons on the field because Cam Newton was over there noodle arming the ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys, I hate to say this, but Cam Newton's about on his way out. He needs to go.
All right, so the big game of the week was none other than the Baltimore Ravens and traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. And so we brought up Deshaun Watson. We brought up, what we think of his quarterback skills and whatnot. But is this the defining game so far of the season that lets you know how far the new class has come and gone so far, and who the best new quarterbacks are?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even with Lamar Jackson having kind of a crappy first half, he finished super strong and made some plays. And I actually had him in there to possibly try to take the lead. But then you have Mahomes that's still playing elite status. Deshaun Watson is playing elite status. Hell, if I don't know if anyone noticed, but the New York Giants got a new quarterback and looked like he was a superstar.
Danny Dimes.
My goodness. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this. The Drew Brees, the Roethlisbergers. I think Brady's holding on by a thin hair. But even Aaron Rodgers has been struggling. So he's put the first half. They compared. I was actually watching stats on him. The first half, the Green Bay Packers are doing good, but then he struggles in the second half. Like they don't know what they're doing when it comes to execution, etc. But I mean, these young quarterbacks are coming in and they're looking better than the vets right now, which is exciting.
Tell you what, this like you said, this new class is something that's a little different. I think they play the game as not as structured as it used to be. There's no pocket pass. Now, when I say that there's not pocket passing, I don't necessarily mean that there isn't like a Tom Brady type player out there, but I don't think that works as much anymore. I think what Tom Brady does is only because Tom Brady has such a system and such a robotic way of doing things, has the best coach and everything, whereas he just has the maturity to read the defenses and know what's coming before anybody else does. As far as quarterbacks concerned, when the new class comes in, they don't have the maturity. They don't have that experience. So, well, the first thing that I notice is a lot of them play kind of like Aaron Rodgers, where it's a little bit. Well, they got the skill, the skill set to be a good quarterback. Even Danny, what's his name? Daniel Jones. So even Daniel Jones, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, and people look at Andrew Luck as being one of the best new quarterbacks, not anymore, but one of the new era quarterbacks. And he was a 4-5 guy running a 40. So these new quarterbacks can all run.
Yeah, man. Did you see the side note that after because that was the first thing that the New York Giants fans were just at all with, was the fact that Danny Jones could run. Eli Manning has never been able to run.
No,
a lot of people have gotten frustrated with the fact that he's just, as soon as he sees the lineman, he goes to the ground and falls to the ground.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that the New York Giants fans were so excited that they went out and basically his jersey sold out in one day.
No way.
Hell yeah. That's how pumped up the Giants are.
And, you got Josh Allen in Buffalo having them undefeated. Next week is going to be a great game just because they're both undefeated in Buffalo Bills and Tom Brady with the Patriots. But I mean, we can go all down the line.
I mean, Wentz is still a great quarterback. He has that same pedigree. Goff is still the same pedigree. We finally saw Mitch Trubisky come out of his shell and shows what he can do when he's running. They even said that he is better when he is running on his feet because he doesn't run like to make a play,
yardage,
but he runs to extend the play so
Right.
his receivers can get open. I mean, there's some talented quarterbacks, and it's pretty exciting.
And I want to point something out. One of the things that we both kind of like let the national media cover was how much of a better team the Cleveland Browns are going to be, right? They got Odell, they got Landry, they got Nick Chubbs and
Same old Browns.
Kareem Hunt's coming, right? Yet they gave up their offensive lineman to get ODB, right? And Baker Mayfield looked like he's running for his life, as in Daniel Jones is running for touchdowns. But no, I mean, nobody's really counting here. But my point is there's somebody like Baker Mayfield who thrives in chaos, and when plays break down, and it just seems like he's another product of Tim Tebow, another product of Johnny Manziel that just need that chaos for them to be good. But in a structured, go ahead.
Well, don't put Tim Tebow in there because at least he knew how to win games.
Listen, your affinity for SEC football.
He's a winner.
Hey, listen, he won in college.
And he won in NFL. He has a winning record.
What?
He took the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and took whatchamacallit to the playoffs. Did he not?
Come on, man.
You tell me what.
Are you arguing for Tim Tebow?
Listen, man, I just don't think you should put Tim Tebow in the same. Listen, you can say that he wasn't an elite quarterback, but at least he won. Baker Mayfield can't even win a game. And here's the crazy thing about this: Baker Mayfield, to me, is the most overrated quarterback. He was the most overrated quarterback to come out of Oklahoma. I don't know why people are in love with him, but they showed when he had the last drive, the last play, all he had to do was run up the middle for the touchdown. And you know what he did? He threw the ball to a man who was not open. Same play happened for Danny Jones. Guess what he did?
Ran the ball.
Ran up the middle for a touchdown. So to me, Baker Mayfield, when he played in Oklahoma, did not learn how to play against, defenses that were pro-style defenses. And it's struggling right now because guess what? He had, out of all the quarterbacks that we've talked about, he's given them the most interceptions.
Hey, man.
I mean, the truth is the truth. And guess what? Odell Beckham ain't getting the ball. Landry ain't getting the ball.
And
Chubbs ain't getting the ball.
Listen, Daniel Jones has one game. One game.
Best game so far out of those two.
But now I really want to now that you mentioned we've mentioned all these players. I really want to get into your top five quarterbacks right now. Like top five. Like, okay, let's start with the team and first and foremost, man. First, like, you got Patriots, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys. Who else? Undefeated.
Rams.
Packers. Green Bay. So all these teams, man, like, who's your top five?
Top five teams?
And it doesn't have to be undefeated. I mean, because I'll tell you one of my top five is
I'll tell you this.
2-1.
Listen, I think I guess I go from 5-1.
Yeah.
Okay. So, golly, I think, it's easy for me to go, well, I guess not. I think number 5 for me is, I think the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
I think number 4 is going to be the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
I think number 3 is going to be the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, nice.
I think number 2 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
And I think the number 1 team is still, because they have the best defense in the NFL, hands down, with all the weapons they have offensively, even with AB going, you just can't bet against the New England Patriots. What is your famous quote there, buddy? Qual?
Don't ever doubt TB12.
That's damn right.
All right, so you got New England, Chiefs, Cowboys. You said Rams, and who's your fifth?
I have the Bears and
the Bears.
and with the Ravens looking in.
Okay, so I actually think the Ravens are legitimately better than the Bears. The Bears barely sniffed their first touchdown as in offensively speaking this third game of the season, and they listen. Their defense is
the best defense in NFL.
What can I say? Listen, their defense is their defense, and it's very good. But if I'm looking at the Ravens and I'm looking at what they can do offensively, even with the Chiefs, they still look good. I mean, it took them a couple quarters, but they still did their thing. So Ravens, to me, if they played the Bears tomorrow, I think the Ravens would win something like 35-14. I don't think it'd be that much of a close of a game.
Ooh.
But I gotta say, not that the Cowboys aren't for real, but I still don't see them as the upper echelon. So when it comes to the Cowboys and the Rams, you got them number 4. I got them flip flop, and you have
No,
Cowboys
he,
3.
he is at number 3.
Huh?
You said number 3.
I have the Cowboys number 3.
Yeah, I flipped the flop. Flippy
So
flop.
he's putting them number 4.
I'm putting the Cowboys number 4, Rams number 3, the Chiefs number 2. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Chiefs number 1 actually, with a tie with New England. First of all, Chiefs are of course undefeated. Win against a better team than everybody in the top 5, and then the Chiefs also, as all the injuries and everything comes together, they Patrick Mahomes just, to me, is the it guy right now. He just does not seem to be able to do anything wrong. I mean, you take away all his weapons, he's like the new age Tom Brady. And that's a hard thing for me to say because I think Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. But Tom Brady, with what he does, with who he has, is it just, bar none, is the greatest of all time. But I don't see how Tom Brady can overcome losing Antonio Brown, losing Edelman, and you never know with Josh Gordon. Tomorrow he could have a relapse and he's gone. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. Let's be honest here. So after all that, and not to mention Gronk, he doesn't have Gronk. After all that, I don't see them being a better team overall over the Chiefs. I can give them a tie, 1-1, first place goes to both. But if I had to put my money where my mouth is, I'm choosing the Chiefs and over the Patriots this year. So far.
I guess.
So,
Qual?
I think I'm a mix of both of y'all, honestly. I'll go with the Ravens. 5. I think I'm putting the Rams at 4, Cowboys 3, and then 1 and 2. Yeah, man, I think that's a toss-up to me. They both look great. Pats, I give the edge, but Chiefs are on fire. So it's just a matter of time, and we'll see how, if Pat Mahomes can have this season be as hot as last season. So, but yeah, they're right about there. I'm excited to see.
Here's the one thing that if I'm a Chiefs fan, I worry about, and it's only the Patriots. It's only the Patriots.
Yeah.
But the Patriots have yet to give up an offensive touchdown. Those 2 touchdowns that they had were defensive touchdowns.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they've defensively have given up 1 field goal.
Yeah.
Think about that. In 3 games, 1 field goal.
Well, based off of what you guys both said about the Ravens, and I will concur on this. And again, I only put the Bears as number 5 because of how good their defense is. The best defense in NFL. They shutting down teams.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
No, 100%.
That across the board. But the one team that the Chiefs also need to worry about not seeing again in the playoffs is the Ravens. Don't think for one second.
Yeah.
Because
what I'm saying.
the Ravens,
yeah.
if you go back and watch a game, even the Ravens admit, and you can watch it, they played outside of who they were. They were trying to play the Chiefs game instead of their game. They know better next time. So I will say this: I think the Chiefs, if they can make it through the playoffs without having to see the Ravens or the Patriots again, like the Patriots and the Ravens go at each other, then of course the Chiefs have it all the way to the Super Bowl.
This is what the classic tale of beating an offensive juggernaut is. You take the ball, you run it,
right.
Run down the clock, make the game a short game.
That's right.
Make the game a dirty game.
That's right.
And make it a defensive game. And the Ravens have every quality in the book to make it a very, very good game, very tough game.
And who was banging down the doors? Mark Ingram. He was.
Oh, I'm telling you, man.
Balling.
You called 150 yards. He got 109, I believe. But, he still balled out, but they only gave it to him like 18 times or something like
That's
that.
because it almost felt like Coach was making Lamar Jackson show that he's better than Mahomes. That's
Well,
not
I'll
what
tell
you
you what,
need
it's
to
better
do.
to lose now than it is in the end of the season.
I concur on that one. Let's hope they may see each other in the playoffs. It'd be epic.
We keep mentioning these quarterbacks: Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes,
Go
Lamar
top 5
Jackson.
QBs. Let's go.
Listen, man, let's do top 5 QBs because at this point, man, I really think that the best teams have the best quarterbacks, and we cannot leave out the man that's about to be paid because you got to pay him, Jerry Jones. You got to pay him, and that is Dak Prescott. 3-0 has the Cowboys looking better and better every game. Like I said, I don't necessarily believe they're a fluke, but man, it's hard for me to believe in them 100%.
You said
Dak Prescott.
You said you said earlier that Deshaun Watson is showing that he can throw the ball to everybody on the team. That's exactly what Dak Prescott's doing right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And his accuracy has improved greatly. I mean, he's focused. He's like laser sharp right now.
Hey, man. Chasing that money will do it to you.
Hell yeah.
So who's your top 5?
I mean, number 5 is definitely Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh. A-Rod all the way down, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's down. Yeah. He has his moments. Number 4 is Dak Prescott.
Ooh, Dak above A-Rod. Okay.
Number 3, Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah. TB12. I can't disagree.
Number 2, Mahomes. And number 1.
Oh, my God.
And number 1, with what he has, what he's working with, what he's up against on a daily basis, the number 1 quarterback in the NFL is Deshaun Watson. He's the toughest. I think he's the sharpest. And I think he has the ability to win the big games. And he's proven that. Mahomes has never had to really face the big games yet. He's never really had to come back from behind. The moment he gets in that high-power offense led by Andy Reid, it's easy. Like it's almost if Mahomes has been given a full house already. And all he has to do is lay it down. And guess what? He's going to win every time in the poker race. But you know who doesn't have a full house? But's going out there and playing like he has a full house? That's Deshaun Watson. That's my top 5.
DW4.
Best quarterback in the game right now.
Wow.
Put money on that, son.
Listen, I'm still kind of bitter because nobody's even mentioning Matt Stafford, but that boy single-handedly beat my my fantasy football team. But we'll leave that alone. So we're not going to talk about none of the Drew Breeses and Jared Goff and
Jared Goff is
Garoppolo. Can we get some Garoppolo love? No top 5 for the Garoppolo?
No. I don't even think any of those quarterbacks are in your top 5. Hell yeah, man. Listen, and also just like I did the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is 6. He's looking in. I think that he shows that he can be a phenomenal quarterback, but right now, to me, those are your top 5, in my opinion.
So let me put it to you like this: if I was drafting a team right now, and I basically had a free fall for my 5 picks, first picks being all quarterbacks. Right now, I had anybody to choose from. 5. I gotta go with Dak right now. And honestly, Dak is somebody that he's a little bit better than a game manager, where it looks like he's turning the corner this year. And 3 games in is a lot to ask for somebody that you're evaluating for your team. But from what I can see him do with better talent around him, with Amari Cooper and Zeke Elliott and all the other pieces that they've picked up, it looks just like he's getting better and better and better. Maybe sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you need better talent around you to make you your own numbers even that much better.
I also, not to interrupt you, and I apologize for that, but I also think too, when he first came to the Cowboys, he had to deal with Dez Bryant.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He doesn't have to deal with Dez Bryant now. He can actually spread the ball across the board and not feel pressured to have to always throw it to Dez fucking Bryant.
Exactly.
Who's no longer in the NFL.
He came into a team that was ready to compete with Tony Romo going down. He is actually thrusted into that situation. Now he's matured. He has that leadership role now. So hey man, that's a great point. So I got Dak 5. At this point, man, not because I don't think he won't eventually be great, but number 4 right now, 3 games in and a season in, half a season actually, Lamar Jackson looks like he's taken a huge leap forward.
Baby Vic.
I think he can be. He has the ability to be better than Vic. To be honest with you,
He's got an arm on him.
That rushing offense that they have with him and the 1-2 punch with Mark Ingram is going to be something nasty. When they get to a little bit better at game control, because they didn't have to do that the first 2 games.
No.
And proving it this past week was a little harder. But I think that Lamar Jackson has something special and has the ability to be very, very, very great. I see him being, and I hate to mention this, but he's one of my favorite players that 49ers ever had. Was I think he can be a better version of Colin Kaepernick, to be honest with you. As well as he did bursting onto the scene with the 49ers and took them all the way to the Super Bowl, I think he can be that much better. Until Aaron Rodgers just completely loses it, I still have him number 3. And then number 2, you got to go with Tom Brady. Those two guys, I don't really have to say too much about them. They just prove it year in and year out. I don't care if, at this point, if Aaron Rodgers is averages 200 yards a game for the rest of the season, but you give me a choice to be in the playoffs, who am I taking? It's Aaron Rodgers, then it's Tom Brady. And, of course, I'm sorry, man. I can't go with you for that Deshaun Watson thing. And he is your Lamar Jackson, number 6. But number 1, Patrick Mahomes, man. Until you beat him, it's just what this guy's doing is video game shit. It really is. I mean,
again, on a high-power offense, you take that offense and Andy Reid away. Are you even talking about Mahomes right now? And I know we're talking about the what-ifs, but it's the truth. You put him in the Texans offense right now. You have him in your top 5?
Well,
he's getting a pass because he's in a great offense. That's all I'm saying.
We talked about the Instagram post where Deshaun Watson put the no-look pass. Who did that? Who made the first no-look pass?
No, he actually failed. He didn't make it. He tried to, and he
no, that
did
was this year. I'm talking about last year. He did it last year.
I guess.
Okay, so
I guess.
All right, man. At this point, Deshaun Watson
Mahomes,
is literally looking up to Mahomes.
Come play in the Texans offense and have Bill O'Brien as your coach. Let's just see how good you are.
Let's see how
good Deshaun Watson would be in that offense.
No. Just like,
Deshaun
I
would
don't
break.
know how Mahomes, because I think honestly, Deshaun Watson has better agility. He has better escapability. He has better movement within the pocket. But I don't know how Mahomes would do with all that rushing coming at him, because you've seen it. Mahomes isn't necessarily bad at getting away from the defense, but I mean, if it affects his game, and he takes a lot of chances, especially at the end of the last year, he was taking a lot of chances because he was getting rushed.
Listen, if Mahomes is in the Texans offense, he's looking like Baker Mayfield.
Nah, don't. Pause,
Hell yeah.
Pause.
Qual, who's your top 5 quarterbacks, man? Because John's pissing me off. You need him Deshaun Watson in top 5. Bullshit. For all you people that hate on me about me being a Texan hater, just know I'm the only one here that's pushing for Deshaun Watson being the best QB in the game. Speak your truth, Qual.
I'm gonna go. I got Jackson, Lamar Jackson at 5. 4. I'll probably put. You said Dak 4, huh?
Yeah.
Right now, honestly, I'll probably put Brady at 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Brady, huh?
I like that. He's old.
No, I mean Brady's an all-time great, but
I know.
you talk about right now.
Can't say shit about him,
It's really
man.
just
So
I mean, they got the complete system.
I know.
You know what I mean? They got the defense. They got everybody. So I'm saying, like, if you think just quarterback, I mean, there's other players that can fucking outplay him right now. But
Brady still makes the plays he needs to make.
no, for sure.
That's what makes him so good.
I mean, he's still elite.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah.
GOAT.
What?
You're bothering me, dude. Just because, first of all, it's like you guys don't account for how good their defenses are. Like, him and Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you would have put a team on their back, like, you're over here talking about Deshaun Watson has to literally carry the Texans every week. They've carried their franchises for years, not just a week in and week out.
So you're saying
for years.
That's true. The Patriots, Tom Brady deserves to have a time where he doesn't have to.
All right.
Basically.
So are we saying all time? That's a different.
No, I'm
no,
talking
no.
about today, right now. But the fact that you hold it against them because their defenses are so good and they don't have to play like Deshaun Watson or Mahomes is like a fault against them. I don't get that.
That's not a fault against him. I don't think
You
it's
just
a fault.
brought that up.
But I'm not saying it's a fault against him.
yelling
But I think
at Qual.
as of right now, 4 is not bad. I don't know why you're saying like
It's
like
not
he's
top
not an
no,
elite.
no. Okay.
You want him as number 1?
Huh?
What did you have TB at?
I had him at number 2.
At number 2.
Yeah.
He can have him at
From
number
4
4.
to 2, that's fine.
He needs to make room for Deshaun Watson.
He
Biatch?
did.
Granted, I mean it's a small
you had
sample
Deshaun
size.
Watson at 5, right?
No,
who'd you have?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
Okay.
Number 5.
Yeah. So I got TB at 4.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go Dak at 3. I'm gonna go Deshaun at 2,
Boom.
and I'll go Mahomes at 1.
Hey, you know what? I'm just happy you have him in your top 5 because whoever doesn't have Deshaun Watson in the top 5, they're missing out on a true beast of a talent. That's all I gotta say about that, John.
Hey, listen.
Hey, this could change. I'm just saying right now.
No, yeah, 100%.
Right now,
3 games
obviously-
in, like a little too early for everything. But still, it's you know.
I'm surprised you didn't have Aaron Rodgers. But
Yeah, I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers. You know, I think I read something. He got sacked. Was it one time? I mean, that pocket didn't
No,
collapse
yeah,
on
he
him
said
at
it's
all.
the cleanest pocket he's had
Last
for a
game,
long
he was
time.
like, he said something. He looked down. He said, "My jersey was clean." He said, "I didn't have it. Like he didn't get sacked." I was like, "Man, I wish Deshaun would have that problem."
Hey, man.
Not ever
Your
get
boy,
sacked.
your fantasy wide receiver is getting kind of upset though. You know what I'm
with
talking
Devontae Adams?
about? Yeah,
Because
he's not
he's
getting
not-
the ball enough.
Well, get open. Shit. Listen,
All right,
I
so-
think we all can agree. If you're open, Aaron Rodgers is going to find you.
Yeah, well,
Enough said.
right at this point,
Stop crying. Give me some points.
Man, I can't go on with this show without mentioning one of the things that we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I've been a big supporter, not a big supporter, but a supporter of Antonio Brown. But at this point, I just don't see how you can necessarily be on his side at this point anymore. It just everything that he's done to this point has been almost self-inflicted. He's been given chance after chance after chance, and it just seems like nothing's good enough. And from what we've known, as far as reports are concerned, he was told not to contact people that are accusing him of said misconduct. And he contacted them anyways in a group chat, sent pictures of their family, and they deemed it threatening. So, Patriots did what the Patriots do, and they just gave him the pink slip. He's out, and he's admitted that he is no longer going to play in the NFL, according to him.
He's going back to college.
Going back to Central Michigan.
I think he's going to take ethics. It's first class.
Yeah, so it's just I don't know if I can ever see him in a NFL jersey again. Not even because he's saying that he's not going to play, but I don't think another team will even sniff him at this point.
I mean, it's sad to say he's a waste of talent, and like I always tell Josh, there's nothing in this life that's worse than wasting your talent. But I know for me, and I told you this earlier, what I want to address is that, like, us men as sports fans, we have to literally stop attacking the accuser every time one of our favorite athletes, like something comes out of one of our favorite athletes. And I also want to say that we all have to just be in the middle and just wait till all the full story comes out, all the proof comes out. I think everybody is innocent until proven guilty, but we as men, as soon as a lot of men that I talked to, as soon as these accusations came out against Antonio Brown, people were saying a lot of belittling, just really horrible things about the accuser, and I just think we have to be a lot better and realize that 80%, and I don't have a statistic, but it just seems like 80% of the time when one of our favorite athletes get accused of something horrendous, they usually did it. And we can't always just say, oh, she's out for money or she's out to try to destroy him. Antonio Brown was out to destroy himself. He had all the opportunities to back away from this situation and make things right, and he chose not to. And that's just a testimony on who he is as a person. He's just not a good person. And that's a damn shame, because I think we've all three here can agree that when Antonio Brown was on the field, he did incredible, immaculate things that made him such an elite wide receiver, especially from where he came from in college and how he put himself in position to be one of the top elite wide receivers. So it's just a damn shame, and I just want us all men to be more conscious about how we perceive these women when they come out and they have felt some type of way or dealt with something with these athletes that has made them feel, whether it's been rape or a battery, whatever it may be. Like we need to just be respectful across the board to both to the accusers and to the people that are being accused, and not take any sides.
Yeah, at this point, I don't look at it in the sense of Antonio Brown did it or he didn't do it. There's reasons why you can believe he did. There's reasons why you can believe that he didn't do it. But I will say that at this point, through multiple conversations I've had with multiple people, it does seem to be like, oh, she's out for the money. Now, I don't, nobody was in the room, but it just seems like the public opinion is the first thing to do is almost like blame the victim. That's kind of unfortunate when it comes to something as serious as this, when it comes to this situation and sexual abuse and sexual harassment and player misconduct like that. And they are targets. Players are targets. I mean, they get there. I mean, imagine you going to your job and your salary as being one of the top people being paid in your country is just out for all public knowledge to hear about and to know about. And especially if you're a millionaire, you know, they're coming for you. And I'm sure you've heard plenty of stories, whether it be women accusing them or even just, you know, accountants out for their money and stuff like that. But in this situation, he was clearly told not to engage, not to talk to people, certain people, and that's just almost like any counsel will tell you, any attorney will. It's like law 101 when you're getting accused of something. But what he has shown is he's exhibited entitled behavior, and that's one of the things that I preach against. Nobody should feel entitled to do anything to another person. Hey, listen, you do what you want to do. I'm all for that. You know, as long as it's not hurting nobody. I don't care if you jump off a bridge. To be honest with you, that's on you. But when it comes to putting your hands on somebody else, making somebody do something against their will, that's when I draw the line. And at this point, it's just I can't. There's no defending anymore. The one thing is, I don't like the way that. Unfortunately, and I'm about to call out the Patriots. I don't like the way they feel like they can just wash their hands on this because they knew what kind of player they were getting. And I'm not saying that he did or he's innocent or he's guilty or anything like that, but you can't sit here and be like, oh, no, I don't want to pay him anymore because of said reason. No, you drafted him. You picked him up. You made him sign a contract, or not made him, but he signed a contract guaranteeing him money. You did that. Now, if you want to back out of that, there should be some ramifications, at least legally, at least monetarily. But you don't get to sit here and wash your hands from said player. Hey, we looked the other way with Aaron Hernandez. So did you. We looked away when we had a number of different players that come in 1 year. Corey Dillon, DUIs, and multiple other players. I can't remember off the top of my head, but. We all look the other way. Yeah. Like, you know, at some point we gotta not look the other way anymore. You know, the Patriots, yeah, they won championships. Don't get me wrong, they're a well-oiled organizational machine. I get that, but dude, let's start holding their feet to the flame too. They're not without fault here either.
I mean, one of the things that AB, you know, when he went on his Twitter rant said was like. Why the fact that no one was even talking about the way we're talking about him, no one even really had that same attitude and perspective on Kraft and what he did when he got caught being in one of those you know.
It starts from the top.
Okey doke massage parlors, you know.
Hand away from me, dude.
Sorry, okey doke massage parlors. I'm telling you, man, it is Viagra, boy. It'll take you places, man.
All right, man. So we got into our top 5. We got into our AB rant. Qual, man, you got to hit us with the off the dome stuff, bro.
We're not going to do our picks? We're going to wait
Ooh. Almost forgot that one. Okay.
Thank you. That's what makes you quality.
Hey, keep us tight. So we do every week, as we always do. We actually, not every week, because we missed week 2. Actually, I didn't, but they did. with our picks. But we're gonna count week 1, week 3, and we're gonna get into our picks in just a second. But let's do a little recap of week 3. Qual, how'd
that's
you
right.
do?
So week 3, we chose 5 games, and we did, was it Tennessee, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Kansas City, Rams, and Cleveland, Bears, Redskins, and of course Texans and Chargers.
All right,
Me and Chris were both 3 for 5. Chris got Tennessee wrong. And then he also got
the big games is Texas
wrong.
and Texans and San Diego. So
why is that the big game?
well, that's the one y'all got right. I got it wrong. You know,
That's
y'all had
Deshaun Watson. we
Deshaun
trust.
Watson and I had San Diego, and I was
He's-
feeling pretty good.
He's just trying to set up for the Kansas City game.
Oh, there's a Kansas City. Oh, that's right. That's right. Kansas City and
You
Baltimore
mother-
played. That was at Kansas City. So
So
who'd y'all get?
John was 4 for 5. The only one you got wrong was the Texans
Okay.
and the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
you
I got
did. You were the only one that got Kansas City right, and we both took the Ravens on that one.
So okay, so I'm actually, if we just real quick recap, if we're doing a standings, I'd be in first place by a game. So you're welcome.
Week 1, we were all 2 for 5.
But hey,
Unfortunately,
man, week one's week one. We don't
Week
know who's
one-
good.
week
We don't
one's
know who's
crazy.
bad. You know, so I was 4 for 5.
So
last-
me and Chris are 1 game behind right now.
Listen,
First place.
listen. We have to allow John to boast in this success because so far this is the only taste of success he's had so far. So let's let John have his moment.
All right, so top 5 games of the week. I gotta say, what is it? Thursday night, Green Bay versus
Philadelphia at Green Bay. Philadelphia 3-point favorites. 40
Oh,
around
no way.
48 points.
Is that right?
Is the over under?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Philadelphia is the favorite.
No. Green Bay. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Did I
Okay.
say Philadelphia?
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah.
Green Bay 3-point
All
favorite.
right, 3-point favorite, and they're at Lambeau. Who you got?
At Lambeau.
Man, I think this is gonna be a lot closer than people think, and I think it's just gonna come down who has the ball last. But
Green Bay's 3-0.
this is what I'm saying. Philly has a suspect secondary. Their run defense is great, but their secondary is garbage. And when you're going against Aaron Rodgers, who's starting to get comfortable in this new offense, I got Green Bay.
Okay, I was about to say who.
I got Aaron Rodgers.
Listen.
Check down, double check.
Philly didn't end up the year so good last year. They're not. I don't think they're the same team as they were when they won the Super Bowl. Not to be okay. When I say this in a very 50-50 way, but I think that Carson Wentz is a little overrated, just a little bit.
Ooh.
A little overrated.
He's putting up numbers though.
Okay, but that's because he's always losing at the end.
Well, I'm just saying.
Green Bay 3-0. Philly is actually 1-2, and the only win they got is over a winless Washington Redskins. So I got Green Bay.
Qual.
Packers, baby.
All right, so we all got Packers on this one.
I'm hoping I'm thinking this is going to be a breakout game for Devontae Adams. So it should be good. At home, Lambeau Field, 3 points. I might even take them over. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, but I'll take them more than 3.
I think it's gonna be close though. I think Wentz is always fighting. They're always, if you go look at all the losses the Eagles have,
Yeah.
they're always fighting to the end.
But I say at least a touchdown though. Now, and also, I want to bring this up. I want to give Chris his due credit because he called the Texans game perfectly, and he said that it would be close, but he said that we would edge it by a touchdown, which we did exactly. So
No, that's pretty good, man. Look at you, man. It
Hey.
doesn't give you nothing but
Call me
whatever.
Vegas. Call me. Give me your money. I'll tell you who to bet.
All right. Speaking of overrated, so Cleveland and Baltimore, man. I don't see you having any other way, but surprise me if you may.
Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore are 5-point favorites, over under 46 points.
If there's one thing the Baltimore Ravens love to do, that's beat the shit out of the fake Browns, because Baltimore Ravens are the original Browns. And not only that, but I think with that broken down offensive line that the Browns have, and the fact that Mayfield can't read defenses, I think that the Baltimore Ravens, coming off that difficult loss against Kansas City Chiefs, are going to come out and beat the Brown off the Browns.
That's a good one. Yeah. What is that? A 5-point favorite?
Yeah, it ranges from like 5 to 7. It's about a touchdown. Yeah.
2 touchdowns. It may even more than that.
Oh yeah, you talking about giving Chris credit about the Baltimore game? I mean the
Texans
Texans by a touchdown. He did call Baltimore up 2 touchdowns, so I can't. I'm not gonna let you slide, but I mean,
all right.
whatever. Y'all both picked the Ravens. It's cool. I got the Ravens too, and this time,
you both picked the Ravens, but I'm gonna pick the Ravens.
I don't necessarily have them by double digits. Excuse me, I don't have them by 2 touchdowns, but I'm almost guaranteeing they're gonna hit double digits, maybe 10 to 13 point win.
17-point win.
Yeah, it's not. I don't even think it's gonna be that close.
21-point win.
Like, I mean, the scoreboard might have them closer in the end, but maybe
6 sacks.
Yeah, it's gonna be nasty.
Baker Mayfield.
I'm
He's
going
gonna-
Ravens.
Ravens.
2 interceptions.
All right, so-
5 sacks. Baker Mayfield sucks. Let's go.
So we got the quarterback that beat my fantasy football team this week, Matthew Stafford, going up against the best offense in the league right now, Kansas City Chiefs. Stafford and the Lions are looking a little undefeated right now.
They got a good defense too.
They haven't lost, but they haven't won all their games either. They're 2-0-1 with the 1 tie versus the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs going 3-0. Who you got, Chris? Oh.
So this
I'm
is
sorry. What's the line?
This is gonna be Chiefs at Detroit. Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites. 53 points over under.
Oh man, that Detroit defense is not that as bad as what people are suspecting it to be. I think it's gonna be a closer game than that, but.
Well, all I know is that if Detroit did their homework, and I hope that they're watching film, give the ball to Kerryon Johnson. Let him do what he does best on this Kansas City Chiefs defense that is suspect across the board. Whereas the Patriots defense is keeping them relative, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs offense is also keeping them relative because the defense is still horrible. But even with that being said, I really don't know who the hell these Detroit Lions are, and I think that this game is just too soon. Like if this was like week 6 or 7,
you'd have a better idea.
And I'd have a better idea, but I have to go with what seems the most trustworthy thing on film, and so I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right. I got Kansas City by 3. I think that the defense is gonna keep the game close, but I don't necessarily think that it's not gonna be a high scoring game. The only way I don't see it as a high scoring game is if they do give it to Kerryon Johnson a lot. But when you have Matthew Stafford, you can't trust that.
Listen, if Kerryon Johnson can get 100+ yards, then the game is going to be super close. And I honestly think if he can get 110+ yards, 120 yards, and also get at least 50 yards in as far as receiving as well, Kerryon Johnson, I think the Detroit Lions could actually pull up an upset.
But if I'm not mistaken, it's a dome, right? Ford Field, I guess if that's what it's called.
Yeah.
It's indoors, so I mean it's gonna be a fast game regardless. And you know, if it's fast, Kansas City got the edge. Who you got, Qual?
Chiefs.
So yeah, I got the Chiefs.
Real
Are
quick,
we all gonna
I mean,
agree?
We don't have to really expand this on too much. Real quick, because it's not one of the games. But I don't want to go without mentioning that the real undefeated teams that are playing right now is actually going to be the Bills versus the Patriots. Real quick, is there anybody that sees the Bills beating the Patriots?
Me.
The Bills?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, all right.
I'll take the Bills.
Shoot,
I'll take the Bills by a field goal.
you want to count this game?
Why not?
I'm asking you. You want to count this game?
Go for it. Yeah.
Right now,
Who you
we're
got,
hitting
Qua?
bonus.
Pats, baby.
Bonus.
Okay. All right. We'll count again. Then bonus game. All right. Man, we just went through a whole segment talking about we cannot.
Bills, but listen,
It's at the Bills, right?
It's in Buffalo.
Yeah,
It's in Buffalo.
Yeah.
not only is it in Buffalo, but it is a conference game.
Yeah.
And again, the way we thought the Jets would come out where they have nothing to lose, it seems like that attitude is in Buffalo. Buffalo has a really good defense, and I think it's going to be a super
Ed
close.
Oliver.
It's Ed Oliver.
Shout
Shout out. I think it's going to be a super low-scoring game. Super low-scoring game, especially with us not knowing if Edelman is going to be healthy enough to play, right? Like you
Ooh,
talked
good
about Josh
point.
Gordon.
Good point.
The weather's probably going to be shitty. The weather's probably going to be shitty in Buffalo, like everything else is in Buffalo. I see the game being like 17-20. I got Buffalo winning it by a field goal.
Hey man, yeah, like I said, man, I already said New England's allowed 3 points all year on a field goal offensively. So you got Buffalo. We'll throw an extra one. I got New England. Qua got New England. Just don't see. I can't bet against TB12. And now is Dallas is the Sunday night game. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Dallas versus New Orleans,
Ooh.
and everybody and their mama thought that New Orleans would be done after Drew Brees went down. But lo and behold, Teddy Bridgewater. Hey man, I'm happy for him. To be honest with you,
I am
man.
too after what happened to him in Minnesota. Yeah.
You ever heard about that, Qua? Teddy Bridgewater?
What?
He used to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I remember that.
In
Practice.
practice, he took a step back, and I'm not too sure if he stepped in a hole or not, but the back leg went out, and you know when quarterbacks their legs go out, they wibble wobble, whatever, go to right or left or whatever, and it just like an ACL tear. No. This dude's knee, her knee went completely the opposite way.
Ooh.
And his leg literally hit the ground. So the femur, your bone, touched the opposite way. Say
Ooh.
like if I would have kneeled, but the opposite way.
Didn't it break the skin too? Is it compound?
No, I don't think it broke.
I thought it would.
But
I
I
thought
could
it
have.
did.
It could have. I'm pretty sure it did.
Basically, it was the most gruesome thing that anyone ever seen. The players started crying. It was pretty horrible, man.
Bro, in a practice. And
Yeah, man.
there's no tape that's ever been released about it, but just the details are gruesome enough. But anyways, Dallas versus New Orleans. Alvin Kamara went off for the best game of the season so far. Last game, Dak Prescott. We got him around 4th or 5th place in our top 5. So we all know what Zeke can do. Man, what do you got?
Oh man, listen. I
What's
think.
the line? I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's the line?
So Dallas is going to the Dome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's 45 points over under. Their Dallas is favored around 2.5 points.
All right. No one here in Houston wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to ignore it. My cousin Paul told me to shut the hell up this weekend when I mentioned it. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Everyone thinks I'm full of it. And no one's really talking about these boys out there in Dallas, even across the nation. Let me tell you something. This is the breakout game for the Cowboys. After the Cowboys put a whooping on these New Orleans Saints, who that? Them Cowboys are about to put it on them boys. I got Ezekiel Elliott going for over 150 yards. Not just that, but Dak Prescott is going to look as elite. He's going to be in everyone's top 5 QBs after this. I got them beating them by at least 3 touchdowns. I just think the Cowboys are that much of a better team across the board. Not only that, but I think they're going to come to play, and I think they're going to come to prove something, and it's a national TV. Them Cowboys are coming to play,
Sunday
guys.
night.
They're coming to play. Mm-hmm. And if Drew Brees was there, I'd have a different game, but these are Sharks.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up one thing. I want to see if the Dallas Cowboys play the Texans this year. No, they don't. Unfortunately, man, that'd be a good little trifecta rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, Houston, and New Orleans. Of course, Houston and New Orleans already played, and Dallas is going to play New Orleans this week. So, too much Cowboys. And you want to know something? This is one of the reasons I think that not only do I feel and you feel that the Cowboys are for real this year is week 1, before, all I could hear was Dallas Cowboys. Everything was the Dallas Cowboy news, and Dallas Cowboy fans were talking. Oh, Zeke's gonna be signed and all that stuff. And I really didn't think that he wasn't gonna be signed, but they were always talking about he's gonna be okay. So cool that Zeke gets back. Now week 1 comes, they're like, I told you, this is what we were gonna do. We were gonna win. Week 2, they win, and all of a sudden, it's getting a little bit more quiet. Week 3 comes around, and I don't hear nothing. And you want to know why that is? Because now they're scared. Now they don't want to jinx it. Now they believe that, oh shit, this could be the year.
This could be the year. Yeah,
So
you're
they're
absolutely
serious
right.
as fuck right now.
Yeah,
So
you're
that
absolutely
shit
right
is
about
so
that.
funny to me, man. When
absolutely right
they're
about
like teeter-tottering on being a good team or not, they're the loudest fans in the world besides the Texans fans. But as far as like letting somebody know how good their team is, now when they are really good, it shows that they're a real team because they're like, oh shit, this could be actually our year for real now. So again, too much Dallas for New Orleans to come and overcome that. Teddy Bridgewater got a couple games under his belt to get some film under him, so I can easily see Dallas game planning for Teddy Bridgewater a little bit better, and got to just keep Alvin Kamara in the box, and they'll be straight. So I got Dallas.
What you got, Kwa? I know it's hard to pick Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, not. I know they're a great team, man. But honestly, though, I think I'm gonna go with Saints at this one. I think it's gonna be a close game, closer than you think.
Saints. Bridgewater.
Maybe
versus
a
Dak
defining
Prescott.
game for Bridgewater. I mean, imagine the story on that if he can pull this one off. And
The finest game for Bridgewater, you said?
like a defining.
Oh,
game.
defining. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
He needs one after everything he's
Hey,
been
man,
through.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a great story, man. I'm happy for him. Somebody that's following and chasing their dream, man. All more power to him.
Yeah, but I think it'll be a touchdown or less. But I think it's gonna go to Saints.
All right, so got to give it up to the game of the week. New guy coming on the scene for Carolina, scoring 4 touchdown passes in his first start. So the Houston Texans are traveling to Carolina. Is that right?
No, that's at home.
It's in
a home
Houston.
game.
Oh, really? Okay, so I have it written down wrong. So thank God I didn't want them to go from West Coast to East Coast. Yeah, man. I think I don't even want to jinx it at this point, but who you got, Chris?
I want to go last.
Oh, okay.
So we're 4-point favorites. 46 is the over/under. Playing in Houston.
Kind of like being the underdog,
That's
but
at noon. Oh yeah, I always love being the underdog. But I'm going Texans, man.
no.
Yeah.
Even see, you're gonna whatever the record is for the Texans, you're gonna be the complete like epitome of that. Cause so you're gonna.
Hey,
there's
man.
not a game that goes by that you won't pick the Texans. So like that's like
Yeah.
the default
Just
here.
hey, it'll be a monumental occasion when I do bet against them.
Okay,
So,
John, who do you got?
I got the Texans.
I got the Texans not stopping but slowing down McCaffrey, and I think that's going to be the defining edge for us winning this game. It's really going to be boiled down to who can be stopped, McCaffrey or Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. And I think that we got the better defense, so I'm gonna go with the Texans. I don't think it's gonna be by one score, whether it's 4 points or whatever. It'd be by one score. I mean, I don't see any reason to believe that any different.
Listen, let's break it down. McCaffrey and Deshaun Watson, 2 of the most elite players on the field, are going to be going head-to-head in spite of their stupid-ass coaches, because both of them have the dumbest coaches I've ever seen coach ever. Riviera should have been fired a long time ago.
Hey man, he's had a good job, man. Shout out Hispanics as a head coach.
He's a horrible coach. He runs boneheaded coaching plays. Take, for instance, what happened a couple of weeks ago when all they had to do was just let Cam Newton run up the middle or let McCaffrey run up the middle. They decided to go on the...
Oh man.
So
Anyways,
let me
wait.
ask you: is Cam
The
Newton
fake
really
reverse?
hurt or is he benched?
I think he's really hurt.
He's hurt.
Really?
He can't.
Yeah.
He can't stay straight. He can't stay healthy. I mean, even when he was in the game, did you see the way he was throwing the ball? I'm like, this is somebody who just doesn't need to play anymore. He reminds me of when they try to bring Andrew Luck out there.
That earlier. You don't think he's gonna play?
I don't think he's
anymore?
gonna play anymore, man. I think he's done.
Done.
I just even when he came out, he couldn't connect with any of his receivers, and these guys were getting Samuels and DJ Moore are really good receivers. They would be probably they could be equivalent to Steele and Woods, you know, in the Los Angeles Rams. That's how talented these guys are. And you had McCaffrey, and then you still have Olsen as your tight end.
Yeah.
He can't connect with any of them. But this is gonna boil down to which coach fucks up the least. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think you're going to see what you saw between Jacksonville Jaguars and the Texans a couple of weeks ago.
But I believe in the Jacksonville defense, though. I don't believe in that.
Listen, I don't believe in either the Texans or the Panthers defense. They're
Really?
very suspect. But this is what I got. I got on a bonehead, stupid defensive assignment being blown. I got the McCaffrey getting a touchdown and getting the best of us after Deshaun Watson put up a good game. So I'm going with the Panthers.
So it's gonna be a game-winning drive.
Yep.
with McCaffrey. Okay, all right, man. Man, you never cease to surprise me with your Texans picks. I mean, like, you'll give me every answer why the Texans aren't gonna win, and be like, just because I said that earlier, it doesn't mean that I don't think they're gonna win. They're gonna win despite they don't have a defense. They're gonna win despite J.J. Watt is on the way out. They're gonna win despite the
as long
coach.
as long as you have Deshaun Watson, you're always gonna be in the game. He's MVP, he's the best quarterback in the game. But guess what? He can't play all the positions, and he can't call the plays.
True that.
And I'm sorry, but there's just something about these two coaches that whoever makes the least amount of mistakes in play calling and time management, because they both struggle in that area, that's gonna be what defines how this game is won.
Yeah.
So Panthers, and trust me, it hurts me to say this because I want Deshaun Watson to win.
All right, Qua. Anything in the news? Anything happening? Top five. Off the dome.
I just want to give a shout out real quick to NFL Films. Been doing just the whole NFL organization right now as far as putting out a lot of great content. This is their 100th year, so they're really going big on NFL 100.
I got to get back on that a little bit more.
Yeah. One of the cool things that they did is they put a series of the top 100 plays, I guess, in the last 100 years. And it's a whole series on YouTube. It's great. They highlight all the plays. They have people come in and comment, like different comedians, like other athletes,
Really?
the coaches.
Okay, cool.
Like Kobe's on there. They'll have Steve Harvey, like all these people, that are either talking about their team winning or getting beat. So that's cool too.
So what? So have they done they bolted down the number one and everything?
They bolted
So
down
number
to
4,
one.
what's that one?
4 is a Music City Miracle.
Do you remember that? Where they
Tennessee Titans?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I remember that. I remember
That
I
was
was
crazy.
I was still a big Tennessee Titans
Yeah,
fan
yeah,
because
yeah.
they just left the Oilers. Because of that they get to the Super Bowl and they play the Rams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only to lose by a couple of inches.
And number
Yeah,
3.
yeah. Well,
I don't want to get.
I'll go
I
top,
don't want to get
I'll go
too.
top 5 real quick. So starting with 5 is a Malcolm Butler interception.
Oh fucking
Oh,
Super Bowl,
at the.
what was it? 40, 46? Yeah.
Oh, when they could have just gave it to
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
10 out of 10 times he gets a touchdown. The Patriots couldn't stop
What was
him.
crazy was he got them all the way there, and then at the very end they decided to pass.
Pete Carroll is one of the greatest coaches of all time, except for that game. Idiot.
And I'll never understand that.
Do you
Well,
remember-
the thing that I respect the most about it, though, and there's been videos that have come out about this already, but you've probably seen it too, how they've ran that play, being the Patriots, that defensive scheme, time and time again, where they put Butler in that same spot to cut off the receiver, but he gets beat every single time in practice.
My greatest moment of that was the fact that Tom Brady was shocked that they won that game. When that happened, he was just like, oh my God, we just won.
Yeah, yeah.
He, like nobody figured that they were gonna win. Everybody still
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that Seattle was gonna.
The world didn't. No,
Well,
nobody
the
thought.
controversy in all this too is that everyone said, especially the Legion of Boom, that why a lot of them didn't want to play for Pete Carroll anymore is because the team, the owner, wanted to make Russell Wilson the man, the
Right.
hero,
Yeah.
instead of giving to Marshawn Lynch,
Right.
especially since they had a lot of issues with Marshawn Lynch that year. But we all know for a fact that Marshawn Lynch should have gotten that ball. I ran that play so many times
I'm gonna
in
say-
Madden football and always got a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
yeah.
you out of all that controversy, and you're right. There was a lot of spark controversy when they said that they were holding Russell on a high pedestal.
And Richard Sherman,
But you,
he's
stayed
a very
loyal.
honest person.
Yeah, you stayed loyal to Russell Wilson, man.
I did, but he's still a great quarterback. But at that time, the to me, and I would say this is what takes a little points away from Russell Wilson. There's been times when coaches have called plays that quarterbacks go in there and decided to switch the play right then and there when he should have saw that defense. And here's another thing too. When you go back and look at that play, the receiver allows himself to get bumped out of that play as well. He should have been a lot more. But anyways, Russell
Well,
Wilson.
like you were saying, man, Malcolm Butler in practice gets burned every
Yeah. I
time.
mean, well, yeah, but the Seahawks don't know that.
well, the Russell Wilson.
Well, they obviously.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson should have audibled that play and done what was best for the team and give it to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
I mean, you could even go with the aspect of like, man, they wanted to shock the world because the whole world thought Beast Mode was getting the ball, as he should have. And it's like, I don't know what would have benefited from you from not doing it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
remember-
That's such a high risk play.
You know what? You know what? One thing now. So, they're missing one, and I don't know if this is.
We'll go through.
Hey, real
Okay.
fast though, but remember, Bill Belichick knew that they run that play so many times. He was counting on them to run that play. So who got out coached? Who got out
genius,
coached?
though.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Should have gave it to fucking Marshawn Lynch.
But that's why I respect that it's that high, because that really was such a high caliber play.
That whole game was sick.
Yeah.
That was a badass game.
Oh, that was a nasty game. All right, so we already did number 4, Music City Miracle. Number 3 is a David Tyree helmet catch.
That was sick.
And
I don't know, man. Like that's, I guess because it's so recent, that's got to be at least top 2. I mean, I just don't see because think about it. Not only was that an impossible catch,
Yeah,
right? But wasn't that the team that went 18-0 against it was the New York Giants versus the New England
the 07
they were the
Patriots.
undefeated Patriots.
Yep.
And kept Randy Moss from getting a Super Bowl.
Yep.
You know, and they did a spoof on that, saying that David Tyree had gum on his helmet. That's why he caught it.
Listen, let's talk about the fact that Eli Manning threw the ball up there. He should have been fucking sacked. He threw the ball up there, and with all
I
God,
don't think he even looked at who
he didn't. He just threw it up there because he was horrible thin too, and he was hard. You know what made that game so impressive? And we knew that the Giants had given the Patriots such a run for the money in the regular season that we talked about with the Ravens and the Chiefs, that they knew if they had another chance playing the Patriots, they were going to win. Their defense was one of the best defenses that I've ever seen really give Tom Brady
fits. Yeah,
fits.
but they had Michael Strahan.
They had
all
everybody.
kinds- Yeah, they had a
Hall
good.
of Famers up the bazoo.
Uh,
Both the Barbers.
didn't he? The guy that blew up his hand. I forget his name. You know what I'm talking about? The guy that ended his career because he blew up his hand.
I forgot,
Mike Handy?
No, shut the. He had one of the greatest helmet grills of all time too.
Oh.
I forget.
Justin something. I forget his name.
Yeah. Number
So
2 is the catch. Joe Montana.
Oh, of course.
that's just so legendary.
Yeah.
But I think that I can't put David Tyree's helmet catch just because the difficulty and who they played against above, or that not being above the catch.
Wasn't that game the defining moment for Joe Montana though?
Yeah.
Wasn't that their first
Yeah,
championship?
but was it? No, it wasn't their first championship.
Sure.
Was it? Was it?
I think
Maybe.
it was their
Maybe.
first
Right.
one. And it was a comeback game. He
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back.
yeah.
No,
No,
I
no.
think that has to be number 2. That's just like you go back.
I mean, it's classic, and I get that.
but every time, like if I had to watch replays,
But I don't even think that was a Super Bowl game.
but that was okay.
That was versus Dallas in the NFC Championship. And if I'm not mistaken, does it say?
Not on here. I think it was a playoff game, but it was.
Yeah, it wasn't even a
was
Super
not the
Bowl game.
Yeah, NFC. Yep, against the Cowboys.
Told you.
Tom Landry's.
I mean, like you can't. I'm sorry. It was
That
a
was
defining moment for him.
They
but
beat America's team. Not only
wasn't a
that,
defining
but that
point.
was pure skill. Whereas Eli Manning just threw the fucking ball up. It was a lucky ass play.
It defined the game.
It was a lucky ass play. I'll take Joe
To be
Montana.
fair,
every
a
day.
lot of these
So,
plays are lucky ass plays.
Before we get into the number one, I gotta mention a play, like an honorary mention of a play, right?
Yeah.
One of the greatest plays I've ever seen, and it's hurt my heart because it was the last time that I can remember cheering on the Houston Oilers was actually after they had moved and they played the St. Louis Rams. And they got stopped on the 1 yard line. I think it was one of the greatest
1 yard short. Yeah.
greatest defensive plays in Super Bowl history.
Fuck you, John.
I'm just saying, like it was. There it goes. It was
Yeah.
number 11,
Number 11.
the
yeah.
1 yard short. I remember
That's-
him reaching
so
over,
crazy.
and I still identified that team with the Houston Oilers.
Because it was the Houston Oilers.
It
Everybody
really
was
like it still had Eddie George, it still had Steve McNair.
Rest in peace, Steve there.
Yeah, so you got any honorary plays besides that one?
I mean, that was a great one.
All the play.
That was great too because on that actual segment, they actually had the receiver Kevin Dyson comment about it and how heartbreaking it was. So that was cool that he actually,
That is
I
cool.
feel like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
people be like, hell no, I ain't gonna talk about that. But
No, that
he
was-
came-
that
he
was
came
hard,
out
man.
and,
Everybody had the Rams, dude. They had Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner. They had great players on that Rams team, and for us to come 1 yard short is tough break, but it was very very good game. That's it.
Chris? You have
Honorary
Oh,
one of your
mention?
favorite, or what's like a top play to you all time?
Top play of all time.
It could be Warren Moon, dude. You could be Joe. Actually, dude, if you want to say Colin Kaepernick or Steve Young, it's all good, bro.
No. Golly. Honestly, I think my favorite play ever is the first time that J.J. Watt got an interception and ran for a touchdown.
And that whole season was
Against the Bengals? And
Yeah.
yeah.
That
was beautiful.
That just showed how super athletic and how skillful that
was.
J.J.
How
Watt
smart
was.
he was.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and just so funny how after that play he changed the game because a lot of defensive linemen now are starting to jump up to swat the ball and I don't know. To me, that's always been one of my favorite plays of all time because we all know how hard it is for defensive ends to even get touchdowns.
Right,
and he did run pretty far and it was pretty beastly. So, that's just mine.
Imagine you had J.J. Watt the year that he ran for like 2 fumble recoveries for a touchdown, interception for a touchdown, and he caught
20
out the
20 half
out the
sacks,
backfield as a tight end.
Don't bring that up because you know how pissed off I was. I felt J.J. Watt should have been MVP. And
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They always have to give it to a quarterback, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
Does it have
Well, that
the-
was awesome because I think that year NFL did rank him as the number 1 player after the fact.
After the fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just kind of
Yeah,
like
like
how
that. Yeah,
like how
every
Pat
year.
Mahomes was MVP, but he was ranked number 4.
Right,
or
this
whatever
year.
on
Right,
the-
right,
on the
right.
top
But
100.
that's based on other players, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think people realize how hard it is to get touchdowns when you're a defensive player. Not only that, but a defensive end. The fact that he did not get an MVP and he literally he won 6 of those games. The Texans, you know what I mean, for the Texans that year, and we give it to Brady as usual. It's ridiculous.
So, do they have Brady's? Speaking of Brady, do they have Brady's? What's it called? The fumble.
I don't know.
What's
about
that?
one.
What's that? The ruling that they had that they don't.
Oh, you talking about the Tuck rule?
The Tuck rule.
Yeah.
Do they have the Tuck rule game?
The Tuck rule is in there. Tuck rule is sitting at. Let me see. I
People
watched,
still bring that up and why they try to say he's not the greatest quarterback of all time.
Are you serious?
He's gotten
I mean,
favor.
like,
Hey, no,
yeah.
but there's people that truly believe that Tom Brady has gotten favor from the NFL.
I mean, that was dude. I've never heard of Tuck rule before
listen,
since
I'm sorry.
before or since.
Because people were trying to say it was because of 9/11. It was during like 9/11 and all the Patriots. Like people have all these stupid conspiracy theories. Here it is. Even if it was a good call or bad call, the point being is that the NFL hates the Patriots and they hate Tom Brady. I always thought that. Yeah, man.
Tom Brady's next president of the United States, man. You think that it was hard for Donald Trump to get elected? Just wait till Tom Brady decides to retire. He's gonna walk into the White House. Watch. That's why he didn't want to give into the NFL. When
Listen, the rest of the league hated Tom Brady because they were winning. Trust me.
So in the Tuck Rule game, it was number 18, but it was actually they gave it to Vinatieri for the kick.
But
to tie and win the game.
He kicked it under 5 feet of snow.
Yeah,
That was like
that was crazy.
And can you believe he's still playing?
Oh
Him
yeah.
and Tom Brady are still playing. That's
And you know who
crazy.
they gave to comment on it was Pat McAfee.
Oh,
Which
yeah?
is great, man. That dude is a funny motherfucker.
Yeah, he's good.
He has his own podcast too and stuff. So I
I'll have to
don't know
check
if
him
y'all
out.
listen to that.
No,
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
No, he's good. He's good.
My pick. I mean, maybe it's just because of the era. That's when I really started to really
football.
watch football a lot. Man, it was just beast mode's run, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Against the Saints.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I thought of that too. But
Like you know, I think when you look at the list, there's a mix of like, okay, so some of these were really great play calling, some was just really intelligent plays by players, and some were just downright skill, right? And so all of them are, I mean, you know, are great, but man, beast mode,
man.
what was
that
crazy is that it registered on the earthquake scale.
yeah, it
how
registered.
loud that stadium. That was the first time that I remember hearing about a stadium being
Yeah.
loud.
on
And
the
that's the
seismic graph, or if
But
that's crazy.
It's crazy because it's an outdoor stadium. That's
It's
what
nuts.
I don't understand. How did it get so loud, or how does it get so loud? And it's an outdoor stadium. And I've heard people say come back and they're like they didn't expect it to be that loud. They hear about it on TV, but when
Yeah.
they go out there, it's like well, a
12th
whole
man,
nother-
that's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 12th man. Yeah,
But I can understand like the New Orleans Superdome. I get why it's loud because all the noise is stuck there.
Man, Marshawn Lynch may not be, top 10 greatest running backs of all time, but if you've ever watched him run, he has to be one of your favorite running backs. His personality and how humble he is off of you know what I mean, like outside of his helmet,
No comment.
and then literally like
Both teams played hard.
I'm just saying, man, Marshawn Lynch is the man, dude. He was so fun to watch.
yeah. Not only that, too.
He did great interviews.
Hell yeah, he did great interviews.
I don't know if y'all saw those. I'm pretty sure you did, but this is also like when people were starting to really like make memes and like parodies and stuff, like little videos on like YouTube, and I don't think Instagram was a thing yet back then. This was 2011, but that little video that one guy made and dubbed over his voice. And man, like nowadays we watch like DJ Michi Mich
Right,
and like,
right.
all these people, but man, I forget who this dude was, but I'll pull the video up and put
There's
it in
a-
there.
there's
But
a
it's
couple-
it's great. It's one of the first
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
the
The
dubs. and
NFL ones, right?
huh?
and
No,
what
no,
he
no,
did.
no.
What's just specifically for this
not,
run?
Not like the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for this.
Yeah, no.
Marshawn Lynch
I know what
run.
you're talking about. No, this is not like a professionally done. This is like just some dude talking over
It was the funniest
Oh,
shit.
man,
the
you gotta pull
shitty
it up.
video.
You gotta
Oh
pull
man,
it
it
up.
was
It's the
hilarious.
funniest shit ever, dude.
Link it for the viewers.
Yeah, so you know how he's running, and then when he gets to the end zone, he turns around and jumps backward and grabs his dick, or he puts his hand on his crotch and falls back. And so in the video, the dude goes right in that part. He goes, "Hold my dick," and I swear, like me and my friends had said that for like 2 months straight to each other, just nonstop.
That's
Every time I
not
said,
gay at
"Fucking
all.
hold my dick," just like, hey, it ain't gay unless you say no homo, right?
It's true.
But what
Don't
would
let
you
your friends
guess?
say that.
What would you guess that the NFL would rank number one after hearing about the other top five?
I think the miracle play. What's it? Where the ball bounces off in Pittsburgh.
Oh, right.
You know
Well,
what I'm talking about? And then it bounces off.
Frank somebody.
Yeah, and he runs. I think that's just
You would be correct. That
Oh,
is the
shit.
Immaculate Reception.
The immaculate reception.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know the play necessarily.
It's
I
just
don't-
retarded. Every how it
But
all
I know
happens.
the title of that play.
I remember when I was a kid watching them, like that guy who does the voice for NFL films, like breaking it down.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve
Ebersol
Sable.
or
And
something.
it's just
Steve
like
Sable.
Rest in peace.
every year they would play it, and then you would just watch it as a kid. I'll be like, man, this shit was the craziest shit ever.
I will say, man, those are still some of the greatest videos.
Oh, hell yeah,
like
man.
documentary style sports.
Steve Sable is an
yeah, for
absolute
sure.
beast. Rest in
Dude,
peace.
and you know what? Back then, and I know you can count for this, Qua, especially since you're so talented when it comes to videography and whatnot. But some of the back in those days, some of the film they were able to get was epic. Even at that time when technology wasn't the best when it comes to filming, they had some great filming.
Well, and it's because of his direction with NFL Films, and because he knew what he wanted to get, and they told a story.
Yeah, they sure
Yeah.
did.
You know, like, and dude, as much as I love movies and every other form of art, there's something about sports that's so raw and so like genuine, and there's a story there to anything, and it's stuff you can't make up. And you can say some of these things were fucking rigged or planned or whatever, but at the end of the day, these are real people going out there. You know,
for sure.
There's no story to actually like tell. They're actually putting their bodies on the line, and they have stories. They're humans, and when you create great plays like that, and then how it's captured when they do. I mean, I love sports so much, and I love it for that and what it can do to unite people. We talk about it 100 years later. You look back on these things, and those moments are timeless, man. Like we'll see. Like imagine all the moments being created now.
It was definitely like
sport.
poetry in motion, man. That's what it felt like.
We'll look back 50 years later on that beast mode run, or on whatever play is happening this week, or Adam Vinatieri goes down, one of the greatest kickers of all time, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So I think this list was great. It's all subjective at the end of the day. I feel like people obviously are going to be more partial to their home teams and the best moments of their teams and whatnot. So but yeah, shout out to them. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, go do yourself a favor. And it's like lengthy too, so you can watch them like an episode. They're like 20-minute episodes each.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna start watching.
Play?
Not each play.
Because they break down and give you like
I'm
a little
like,
history.
Jesus.
No, it's about like 2 to 3 minutes, like per play, and I think it gets longer once it gets towards like
That's
the
cool, man. I'm
top
gonna check it out.
the top 10. So
Put
shout out
the
to
link
them.
link in the description.
Yeah.
But all right, fellas, I think, man, we covered everything we could in this episode as far as like.
Well, we're forgetting one thing though.
What's that?
Very, very soon, the Rockets preseason just starts next week.
Ooh.
And I don't know if anybody noticed, and I wasn't going to take too long on this because we spent a lot of time talking about basketball this year. But the Rockets were in Vegas together as a team, working in UFC Vegas, getting it on, working hardcore together. And I'm just super excited about this upcoming season and all the haters that already come out hating on the Rockets.
Hey, man.
I'm just pumped up. Preseason's just around the corner.
Listen,
Next week, I believe. The
it
4th.
didn't look like James Harden or Russell Westbrook would ever win in a fight, but at least they can hoop. I don't want them fighting at all, but they can hoop.
I don't know,
It's okay.
man.
Get it out of the way with a punching bag, so they don't do it on the court.
Listen, man, that punching bag was the least hit out of everybody in that whole gym. Jesus Christ. It was bad. Anyways, yeah, man, I'm excited, super excited, man. I don't want to dwell on it more and more because I get antsy thinking about it, man. I just want the season to start already because I'm ready for them to disprove all the haters, disprove all the naysayers, and take this team, the best team we've constructed up to so far. Everything that we've done up to this point has all culminated at this moment with this team. And man, if anything less than a champion comes up, unfortunately, man, I see it as a failure. So, hey, man, I'm excited. Screw Magic Johnson. He don't know what he's talking about.
Fuck Magic Johnson.
I wouldn't say that, but
I would.
I don't want to get into a bad joke here, distasteful joke, but all right, it's getting late, so. This has been the Sports Chat Podcast. This is Christopher Rodriguez. This is John Trapp, Mr. Qual, chicka chicka, and I am out.
Peace.
Yeah.